Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the wake up call with myself and Alex. We get our weird takes, crypto news and analysis. How's everyone feeling out of 10 today?
Good morning. Feeling good. 5.5. Let's do it.
5.5. It's always a 10 for me. If you wake up on the right side of the dirt, how do you have a bad day? All right, let's get into the news and analysis. President Trump announces plan to raise $12 billion potentially to buy more Bitcoin.
Okay, $12 billion. That is not an insignificant amount. I'm trying to think how much Bitcoin that is, and how much Bitcoin did have the spot Bitcoin ETFs been buying. All right. It's I saw this really interesting thing. I mean, we're going to talk about these Bitcoin companies trying the MicroStrategy wannabe companies buying all this Bitcoin, and one of them in just from their purchases they bought 10% of Bitfinex's supply on their exchange, and Bitfinex has like 1/5 or 1/6 of the total exchange supply of Bitcoin. And so this is we always talk about, like, it's a thing, this is definitely a thing, but like the things are adding up very aggressively, and so 12 billion is not an insignificant amount at all.
For perspective, the reverse of 12 billion. This is obviously like a bullish sort of narrative, but for context and perspective, one of the scariest, more recent moments that we've had was when Germany and Mount Gox was selling their Bitcoin, and them combined. All right, it just says my TikTok just
I see
th-
you
my
combined.
TikTok live just ended. I think.
Oh yeah, okay.
Hold up. But for perspective, um, Germany and Mount Gox was um, whoa.
What happened?
It just completely. Oh, dude, TikTok is on their
Did
dumb stuff again. Yep,
your your account get banned?
yep.
Oh, come on.
So dumb.
Like, oh man, not even just the live stream, but like the actual account.
Yeah, like bro, I am so done with TikTok. I keep saying this,
Yeah.
but my God, dude, whatever. But for perspective, uh, Germany and Mount Gox, when they were selling their Bitcoin, was $40 billion.
40 billion. Okay.
$44 billion. So Germany and Mount Gox, with one of the biggest sell-off events that we've had outside of the Japan rate cut fiasco, that was $44 billion.
Hey, I'm just going to throw this out, Devin. If you want to like work on that right now, I know it's like, as quickly as possible with some of these things.
I don't know what to. I have to email them because it's fully gone.
Yeah.
So it yeah, it's whatever. To be honest, I'll get it. I'll get it in a little bit. I'm not gonna.
Okay.
I'll try to work on it when you're doing the charts.
Yeah, sure. I'll spend extra time on the charts. Man, that's so ridiculous.
Like, bro, I don't even know what we did.
We didn't do anything. We were live for maybe they're not happy that every day's a 10 for you. I don't know.
I guess. I don't know. It is what it is. I've been banned before,
Mhm.
and I will probably be banned again. All right, European Central Bank rate cuts 2%. The Fed is. I didn't mean to put that in there, but yeah, the Fed is next, probably in July, in my opinion.
I mean, according to the CME FedWatch tool, it keeps on getting less and less likely every month. There's a 99.9% chance that it's not going to be cut in June, and then it's like an 83% chance that it's not going to be cut in July. There is, as of now, a more than 50-50 chance in September. So maybe that's where we're going. September first, first rate cut in a while.
Yeah, when I was live, somebody they they had they brought up this point when Bitcoin made a new all-time high. They were like, is it Bitcoin making an all-time high, or are they printing money more, or is the dollar the value less? And I said to that, like, yes,
Yeah,
like that is the entire point. That
all
is
of it.
the orange pill, so to speak.
Yeah. It's that's why, a lot of why I love Bitcoin is because of my hatred of the dollar.
Yes, same
So,
here. ETH flows around 2,600 Bitcoin were sold and 4,300 40 ETH were bought on June 5th. Bitcoin saw 278 inflows, net outflows, excuse me. ETH saw 11.3 million of net inflows.
it's actually, I mean, so on June 5th, whatever, but like I've been encouraged looking at ETH inflows. I made a video about this yesterday. It's been around 50 million a day on average for the last 2 weeks, maybe a little higher than that. I mean, $50 million worth of ETH bought per day is like 12 or 13 times the amount of ETH minted per day. And I know that it's a sore point for you, Devin, moving from proof of work to proof of stake, because they cut down on their emissions significantly, and I would say that has not worked out in their favor yet. But if we're going to be talking about supply crunches for Bitcoin, maybe with these ETFs and with other financial instruments being made available around the world, we'll see something similar to Bitcoin, where it's just it's climbing the stairs every so often. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm full on like in this camp right now, and I've kind of been here, but ETH is going to lead alt season, whatever that means, whether it's like a real deal one or if it's a flavor of a retracement. I think ETH just getting to 3,300 is going to be more than
yeah,
enough to roll dominance over. And, it is the classic sort of playbook that we've all seen, this sort of graph of like the money flow chart, of Bitcoin into
yeah,
large caps, into medium caps, into small caps. And it's like, well, this is what BlackRock is doing. It's like they're doing it right before your eyes. Like Bitcoin, I've been saying, is not the play. Whether we get to 118, whether we get to 138, whether we get to 207, unless you're holding for a long period of time, to me, it's like you're talking a 50 to 100% play. And, BlackRock is telling us, like, they're already giving us the answers to the test of like, oh, wait, they are rotating actually into large caps right now.
yeah. Yeah. Hey, I got a comment on TikTok here. Hey, Devin, your account's banned. Only Alex is live. So
Yeah, I'm tracking. Yeah. I forget. What did you didn't get banned? You got suspended, right?
yeah, I've never been banned on TikTok. I don't know why. Yeah, but somebody, there's this guy going around messaging people on Telegram, threatening to shut down their accounts, and if they don't pay him like $3,000 or something like that, or $3,500. And he hasn't messaged me, but then like a lot of my old videos from like 2020 have been taken down, and I've had to appeal. And so I'm hanging on an edge right now, but I'm still alive.
The same thing happened to me last year. Literally the same time. I think it was in July
Hmm.
when I got banned. So it's already happened to me before. I'm just gonna have to. It's not a quick process. Um, I got to email like their support line. I forget. Like there's a whole thing to it, but I think honestly, I think what happens is people are just like dumb
Yeah,
and they get mad when the market pulls back, and so they just mass report your videos.
yeah,
Um, but it's whatever. Like the truth will play itself out, and this time, like I'm not even as concerned, anyways, because I've already been working on my other accounts.
yeah.
So it's all good. I'll get it back better than ever, just like last time. United Kingdom to allow Bitcoin ETFs for retail investors.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's another thing, you know, it's like, all right, that's not nearly as significant as the United States. I'm assuming the United Kingdom has a um bigger GDP than Canada. I want to look that up real quick. But because and the reason why I'm saying that is because Canada launched a purpose Bitcoin ETF. In that was launched in 2021, and they acquired something like 35,000 Bitcoin within a year or so. And so maybe that's UK, maybe around 35,000 Bitcoin. Um, that's here we go again.
It's another thing.
Yeah,
Metaplanet announces plans to raise 5.4 billion to buy more Bitcoin. Target would be over 210,000 Bitcoin by 2027.
yeah, that's crazy. I did Google it. UK's GDP is significantly larger than Canada's. Significantly, it's like 50% larger. So, but all right, Metaplanet. I'm curious to see how this goes, because I I I wonder if one of these, or maybe more than one of them, is eventually just going to mismanage what they're doing, and they're actually going to fail, and then all this Bitcoin is going to be dumped in the market. So Metaplan, I mean, 210,000 Bitcoin by 2027 that is massive. That's what, a third of MicroStrategy's holdings. That's 1% of the supply. Is it 1%? Yeah, 1% of the supply of Bitcoin supply. That's very bullish for as long as it works, and I hope it remains working. So man,
Yeah, well, I just think it's like what we've been talking about, the dominoes falling and the arms race,
yeah,
right? The arms race of these corporations, it seems like, are the first. And then I think the next phase is going to be the arms race of governments. Perhaps we literally have, like your name would suggest, a world war for Bitcoin, Like imagine like actually fighting wars over mining rights,
hmm,
stuff like that. I don't know. I could see a world that we live in that could be like that.
yeah, yeah.
All right, Trump, mom and dad broke up. Uh, and it's your fault. Uh,
Oh my
uh,
goodness.
Trump says he doesn't know if we'll have a great relationship anymore. I was definitely trolling about this yesterday. I retweeted your post. Um,
Yeah,
to me, it was just like what? So mom and dad are fighting, so now we need to be scared about Bitcoin. Like I'm always skeptical of pumps or dumps. I'm just
yeah,
like a natural skeptic, but especially when there's nothing fundamental, there's nothing technical that's
yeah.
happening. Like everyone wants to talk about market manipulation until it's like it actually happens, and then it's just like let's just sell through the fear, and it's like I don't get it.
That was the easiest dump to hold through. I did not. I didn't sell anything. I bought some crypto. It's not like I bought a huge amount. I had a limit order for a long on Bitcoin set at 101 and 8 101.8, something like that. It went down to 100.4. I didn't even blink. I wasn't even a little nervous about closing that short, or getting, or that long, or getting stopped out. I opened a long on Tau as well. Bought some chain link and some other things. The VIX is for me, just it tells a story of how insignificant that beef was, and how that dump was a buying opportunity. Like with this whole tariff stuff, I mean, the VIX got up to 60, and then went back down. Fortunately, with the Elon Trump beef, the VIX went from 17 and a half to a little under 19. Oh, so scary. Nobody. This was just an event that was created to cause us to buy some crypto if you were playing your cards right. So hopefully, no one panic sold that.
No, I went long on Bitcoin, XRP, and ADA. I'm pretty sure those are the main three that I was doing for longs, and I'm happy with those positions.
Yeah.
To me, it was laughable. Like literally, like I was joking about it when I was live. I didn't understand why people were freaking out. Like, what is like? I don't know. Elon went on SNL, but like, other than that, like, what is he for crypto? Same thing for Trump. Like, he's supposed to be, like, they're both presented to us as sort of the flag bearers
Yeah.
for crypto, but neither one of them are really that, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It was the whole thing was laughable to me. Jobs report better than expected. This could go into your, your theory that they're going to continue to delay the rate cuts.
Yeah, I don't really see much of a reason for them to cut rates given the fact that I mean, well, inflation is still showing positive movement, inflation, um and jobs reports are not, the alarms aren't sounding. Like unemployment is rising, but it's not at the rate like leading up to the great financial crisis. And I am inching nearer and nearer to this idea that, like, I mean, looking at the stock market, um it very much looks like we're going to have a V-shaped recovery here. And so it would be weird to me if crypto just deviated and started just going down into the depths of the bear market while the stock market has this V-shaped recovery. So I mean, there's a lot of people who I have a similar mindset to. I'm just going to name him Jamil. He's just straight up bearish right now, and I've been trying to think about, like, why do I disagree with him now? And it's because of this. A lot of it has to do with just my view on the economy is that the signs of the foundations cracking, there's long-term signs like, yeah, we're screwed, but like for the next 6 months or the next year or something, I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing what I've been preparing for since 2022. So I I'm probably, am I a bull for the rest of this year now? I don't want to say 100% yes yet, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, I'm pretty bullish. I think until we break the downtrend, the dips are for buying, and that's it. And we were in a macro downtrend from December all the way through April, and April was the spring of that and the reversal, and we're still just making higher lows, and that's
Yeah.
just where I'm going to be, and that's super simple. But until that structure breaks, that's where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put your thing on. I'm gonna mute
Yes.
me for a second. I'm gonna try to email them real quick.
Oh, okay. So he's just straight up gone. All right. Well, hello everybody. Let me take some time here. Let me draw your attention to a couple of things. Number one, I have been a a buyer for the last several months of precious metals miners. And I just want to draw your attention to silver. I know I'll get to crypto in a second, but silver, when we started this live stream, silver was above $36. And looking at it now, I mean, it's broken through resistance. There's only been two times ever that 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 silver was above $36, and both times it went to 50 in a short period of time. So FYI, that's very bullish for gold, gold, silver, gold miners, silver miners. I'm up like 50%. I would just, if I were you, I'd get some exposure to that. But anyway, let's get to Bitcoin, to crypto. So let me switch to Bitcoin here. Just one thing real quick, and I'm going to take my time here since Devin's trying to email TikTok since his account got banned. If you didn't know, guys, all right, his account got banned. So Daniel, do you read the comments? Yes. Let's we've done this thing where we have our intro stuff that we talk about, and then while we were live, Devin's account got banned, and so we're both a little distracted. His TikTok account got banned for the second time. So let's do the charts, and then as Devin's working on that stuff, I'll after I look at the charts, I'll look at some comments here, and then we'll go from there. So I did not mean to do that. Now I want to draw your attention real quick. This is just very short term. There is this new trend line that has formed with Bitcoin, a downtrend line. Now that doesn't mean that Bitcoin isn't in downtrend, just that it's a downtrend line. And you can see multiple points here: 7 points of rejection at that trend line. And right now we're right up against it. It would be amazing if this candle today was a bullish engulfing candle, and we ate up all of that dip yesterday, but we've got some resistance here. And I do wonder if eventually we are going to find our way down to this 200-day moving average, the yellow line right here. Let me get rid of the green. The 200-day moving average. We've seen potential. I'm not a huge Elliott wave guy, but I do wonder if what we're going to have now with Bitcoin and crypto is something like an ABC correction before another significant move higher. So here's what that could look like. A, maybe B to a lower high, and then C down to that 200-day moving average, which is rising every week, rising every day. So what would that look like? That would be a move under $100,000. I think if we get that, I'm going to be a very, very aggressive buyer of crypto at that level. If the market blesses us with that, and after that, in my opinion, it is higher. I don't know how long it's going to take to play itself out. Will it take weeks? Will it take a couple months? I don't know. But I am not all that interested in being bearish at this point, despite the fact that there could be some short-term bearish for sure. Yes. Bitcoin dominance is right there. Somebody asked to look at Bitcoin dominance. I mean, it's still just kind of like, all right, is this a lower high or not? This whole process from May 14th to today, 3 weeks, more than 3 weeks, has been a forming potentially of a lower high. I am still hopeful that this is a lower high. I wouldn't be too excited if we were to just keep on climbing with Bitcoin dominance from here. ETH is our biggest hope in terms of this not being a now we're going to just go back and put in new highs with Bitcoin, because you look at ETH, and despite yesterday's dump, it's just still ranging below this key level of support. I'm telling you guys, if we can see Ethereum break $2,700, 2,717, break through it, and then hold that as, back test it and hold it as support, then Bitcoin dominance is going to come down pretty hard, because there's very little historic resistance between 2,700 and 3,000 or 3,300 like that. We would get to 3,000 pretty quickly if we're able to break through this. Now, I think it's going to be, it can still be a couple weeks where Ethereum is going to struggle to break through that. And what I would expect is for altcoins to bleed in their Ethereum pairs until then. So I'm not all that excited about holding all that many altcoins, especially like the smaller cap altcoins. And that's what we've been seeing. I mean, a lot of altcoins, while Ethereum is ranging, a lot of altcoins are in downtrends. Total 2 is ranging, but altcoins are in downtrends. I mean, I could pull up anything here. WIF is now in a downtrend. A lot of meme coins are just now in downtrends. VeChain is in a downtrend. So right now, my mindset with a lot of these, you want to buy the dip, you want to DCA. I'm actually more in favor of that right at this moment than I was for sure than I was between December and April. But I'm eyeing out levels, and I'm interested in buying some of these cryptos. Like VeChain, for me, if it gets down under 2 cents, I'm an eager buyer of VeChain. There's a lot of cryptos that I could show you. I am in a long on Tau right now. Like I said, I longed it at this level of support, $354. It's now at 370. I'm up. Maybe I'd close that at the 200-day. If for some reason we saw Tau get down to this lower level of 258, I would be very interested. 258.99 for Tau. Solana, same deal. I think Solana is going to go down to like 130, 136 or 126. Very interested in buying some Solana at 136. A lot more interested in buying Solana at 126. Um, let's see what else here. So there's just a lot of things that are on my radar as like I have potential entries. Jasmy, same deal, you know. Um, Lower entries for sure. I might actually open a short on Jasmy looking at where it is right now. If I were not live streaming right now, I'd go in and set a limit order at 0.01431. And then what else? I mean, that's all short term, guys. It's not like I'm sitting here saying that that these other altcoins are just going to go to zero. I'm saying that I'm getting pretty greedy looking at these charts, looking for the next levels where I can enter. So, what else do we see? What else do we have here? Uh, well, while we're still waiting on Devin, you know, I'm very confidently holding Aave. Cardano is actually a little bit lower than where I thought it would have gone by now. AOs, I wouldn't touch AOs. That can go a decent amount lower. And Render, same deal. You know, Render can go below $3. So, you know, it's one of those things. This is kind of like, what was the worst case scenario for me heading into these northern hemisphere summer months? Was that we would just have a repeat of 2024. Which, what's a repeat of 2024? It's like we just kind of chop and grind, and we move down, we move up, whatever. But it's just this nonstop feeling of, you know, low volume, we're going to fall off a cliff. And it seems like, I mean, we could turn on a dime, but it seems like to me, in my opinion, that worst case scenario is what June and July would look like. I hope I'm wrong about that. I hope we do shoot up, because I am expecting us to shoot up at some point again. You know, put in new all time highs. But for June at least, um, hopeful with Ethereum, not bearish on Ethereum. Hopeful, not bearish on Bitcoin. A lot of altcoins in the moment. Next week, next 2 weeks, I'm a little bearish on. So anyway, can you look at Pepe? Yeah, I'll gladly answer some questions here. So Pepe, you know, is this support? 236. That would be, you could make a compelling case that the 236 retrace is support, but I mean that looks like some level of distribution there. And then where are we going from here? I would expect Pepe to continue to go down from here, given my bias on smaller cap altcoins. Not that smaller, you know, not that Pepe is all that much smaller. Pepe is pretty large market cap, but you know, maybe some of this level here of you know, under losing a zero, or sorry, gaining a zero, so under 0.00001. So whiff, I already looked at whiff, but let me look at whiff again. I actually am wondering if whiff is going to just come straight back down. If not, you know, maybe it'll go to, you know, 60s or so, but straight back down to its bottom of 32 cents. When to take profits on Pepe? No, I mean, not. Are you up on Pepe? I don't understand the question. If you're up on Pepe, you know, I'd be taking some off the table right now, but otherwise, I'm comfortable holding it. So, what is right stream? Never heard of right stream. Right stream? Yikes! I have no idea what this is. This chart is just kind of scary to me. Like, just given the violence of these pumps, it looks manipulated. But again, I've never heard of this. So thinking about adding more SOL to the bag, good time. I did already look at the Solana chart. Again, you know, for the next 2 to 3 weeks, I think Ethereum is going to be range bound, and Bitcoin kind of the same deal. Solana, I'm much more interested in buying Solana in at around 136 or 126. So, all right, do you think Fart Coin will ever go back to 20 cents? You wait, 20 cents. Oh, yeah, ever? Yeah, definitely. In the bear market, Fartcoin will go below 20 cents. But I don't think Fartcoin short term is going to go down to 20 cents. I did draw, like, I mean, so 236 in its all-time chart in my opinion, for Fartcoin seems like an ideal entry. The 236 retrace is 79 cents. So, I drew this out. So I think last week or something, a projection for where I think Fartcoin could go. I know it's a crude drawing, but around 80 cents, I'd be very interested in buying Fartcoin. And whatever. So let's see. I bought Pepe at the low yesterday. What price should I take profits? 200-day moving average. Okay. If ETH breaks out, most ERC tokens will do well. Yes. Yeah. There are certain ones that I have my eyes on that will do very well if ETH breaks out. So where do we take profits on Pepe? Yeah, maybe the 200-day. I'd be taking some off of the 200-day. If it gets there. Yeah. So is Pepe in a downtrend? I would say it's in a downtrend. Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is for sure a lower low. So right now, in the moment, Pepe's in a downtrend. But if ETH breaks out, one of the cryptos that would do very well is actually Pepe. Pepe will do very well. Pendle will do very well. There's some other ones. Let's see. All right, thoughts on XLM. So XLM, I'm sure, yeah, boring chop, following XRP's lead. I don't hold any XLM. I'm not opposed to holding XLM. I do have my XRP, and I'm holding it with the perspective that eventually this is going to rip really hard to the upside. But when, who knows? I mean, XRP, XLM, they can bore you to death, and so I'm perfectly fine holding that with some confidence that what we're going to see at some point, probably at the point you least expect it, is a nice rip higher in XLM and in XRP. So what else do we have here? I will buy a lot when it, oh wait, sorry, is Bitcoin about to be 30 days above 100K bullish? I don't know. Okay, you're welcome, Dave. I will buy a lot when it does. What's that? Oh, Fartcoin. Yeah, okay. All right, Crow's been one of the better performers. So we have crypto.com. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, I mean, it's been holding. It's been, the floor's been rising. Crow is another one that it's just like, I don't mind having some exposure to Crow because of what it can potentially do when things get hot. Look at that. Just violent spike. If I were to make a list of cryptocurrencies that like spike really hard when things get hot, crypto.com would be high on that list. Certain meme coins, Pepe, especially if Ethereum breaks out. The ISOs with XRP leading the charge. There's some other ones, LCX. So I'm not super worried about any of those. Just holding on and having a bag, because at any point those can break out. So welcome back, Devin.
What's up? All right, so I officially reported it, appealed on my other account. It wouldn't even let me appeal on there. But the last time I did this, what really helped was me tagging them on X. So I just made a post on Twitter. I tagged TikTok and I tagged TikTok support. So if you guys could interact with that, retweet that post, and tag TikTok support, that would be much appreciated.
I'm going to do that right now.
Appreciate you guys. But either way, listen. One thing is for sure, I'm definitely going to be pivoting hard towards YouTube and X. Not that when I get it back, I'm still going to be uploading on TikTok and stuff like that, but I'm just not going to give it my energy because this is getting to be ridiculous at this point. So what did I miss? What are your thoughts on? I missed the whole show.
Like, give me a second. I'm tagging TikTok support and who else? TikTok US, TikTok support. Okay, so overall, if I could give a quick summary, I think ETH is going to range for a couple weeks and then break out. Something like 2 to 3 weeks, something like that, and then break out. In the meantime, I am expecting other altcoins, especially the smaller market cap you go to bleed in their ETH pairs and potentially go down. So I was identifying certain entry levels that I'm interested in with specific altcoins, and this is nothing like earlier this year when I was not saying, yeah, I was saying, do not, don't buy the dip, don't DCA. I'm perfectly fine with DCAing, but like there are certain cryptos that I have levels that I'm very excited about if those cryptos get to those levels. So anyway, that's what a summary.
So here's some woo woo analysis. The full moon is on the 11th. Um, we are definitely in that like energy, and we'll probably be there till about the 15th. But what we have seen that is more, I would say, correlated is we have seen the local tops. The last few months have been a stronger correlation with the new moons, and then we've seen a pretty stark correction. So the next new moon is the 25th, and my prediction is there's going to be a higher high on Ethereum by the 25th.
Okay. That very much lines up with without even thinking about the moons. Like, yeah, I keep on forgetting because I know I'm convinced enough that enough people pay attention to that I should be paying attention to it too.
Right. Whether it's I don't know if it's real or if enough people think it's real, so therefore it's real. I'm not sure. However, this was the last new moon on Bitcoin, and we could see a pretty stark correction. Local top and local top over here. This is just like the last few. It's been literally almost on the day for the new moon. The full moon hasn't been as reliable the last few months. Most of the time, it's been the bottom was already in by the time the full moon was here. But the new moon for the last good while here, like you can see this, those have been the local tops,
Yeah.
like pretty reliably, like hilariously reliably. But it's not again, it's not everything. It's something, not everything. But I definitely do think, just the practical side of things as far as like that goes, there are more domestic violence cases
Yeah.
on a full moon. There are more, just all kinds of like, there's more murder, there's more whatever the worst things that happen in life, those happen typically more on the or statistically more on the full moon. So I don't know.
Hey, look at another live stream and another web interpreting what something that I say as the not at all what I'm saying. What a shock. So
uh, Web, quit giving them a hard time. uh, Says need to push YouTube account. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be funneling people, even when I get my TikTok back. I'm definitely going to be funneling people to YouTube because it's ridiculous at this point. Members only on TikTok. That's what I was doing for a while, and I wasn't having issues. So maybe I'll go back to that. Says, oh, we cooked.
we're cooked. Elon and Trump.
Uh, so
No.
Dan, so this is a little bit of an inside joke. Dano is
Okay.
he's a big Irish. Dano, he's a big Irish Notre Dame fan,
Okay.
and I'm a big Buckeye fan. So
Go Buckeyes.
he's giving me a hard time about that. That's why he's saying OHNO.
Oh, all right. All right. It's funny. I mean, who won?
Oh man, yeah, that was a team of destiny. Crow, yeah. So to give you guys my thoughts, I guess I haven't done that, so I'll take the reins for a second
Yeah, go
here.
ahead.
Um, Yesterday when I was live, I didn't necessarily have any evidence, right? But it was just more intuitive, right? Which I feel like I'm very intuitive, um, especially with the markets and stuff like that. But yesterday, I didn't necessarily have any technical data when we were at 100. I mean, I think we were live when we were at 101K, but we got as low as 100K yesterday. And I was saying that, I was mocking it. I was like,
Yeah.
this is ridiculous. And we actually went up over 2,000 while I was live, but I was saying that this just screams a bear trap, and that doesn't necessarily mean V shape, but I do think over the next by the 14th we're going to start to pivot, and by the 25th I think is going to be noticeably bullish again, and then everyone's going to forget all about this scary breakup that happened. Um, but I think still everything is true with Bitcoin dominance. We're still struggling at the 702. We haven't broken that yet. And Ethereum, and I put the sort of line in the sand yesterday when we were
Mm,
live. I said if we get back to 2,500 by tomorrow or the next day, this I think was a bear trap. And we're on the daily, like we wicked pretty low, but when we go, let me go to like the 3 hour, you can see like it was significantly below it. So let's see if we can start getting some
yeah.
candles in here. And I think that this would be a bear trap. I did put this sort of line in the sand, like what I could see would be, and everything would still be fine for Ethereum, would be 23.28. If that doesn't hold, it would be a back test all the way back to probably 2000. Um, I don't think that that's going to happen though. The way that this is looking, this feels and looks like a bear trap to me. Same thing for Bitcoin, and I said too in my video, like I'm not going to be greedy with my entries. Like I'm going to give you what I think is plausible, but I'm not going to be waiting for the day that never comes.
Yeah.
So 2000 is plausible for Ethereum, but again, I'm not waiting for that. And I think 97K is super plausible for Bitcoin, but again, this might have been it, especially when you get like a ridiculous event. We're already back up to all this trading again. So if we'll see. This is a pretty, if you were to pull a super micro fib here, this could be a level where we could reject and roll back over to 97. But if we break above this and get back on top of the support again, this is just a bear trap. Um,
Yeah.
so that's where I'm leaning, that this is a bear trap. Um, Ultimately, though, we're still in a macro uptrend. Until you take out the macro point of like 94, or if this was the local bottom, and we make another test maybe to 118 and come back or whatever, until we take out these macro points, this is still a big uptrend in the macro. And I did see yesterday on a lower time frame. So I'm on the 3 hour, which is about as low as I like to go. I'm not super
Hmm.
I'm not super micro. I'm very macro. But on the relative strength, this was the lowest that we got for Ethereum and for Bitcoin since April 7th. And we just had a cross to the upside as well. And the last few times that we've had a cross, we've had a pretty decent move. Like the last time was 19%. The time before that was actually over here, this big run up here. So this isn't everything. The RSI isn't everything, but it does. I find value in it when you're at extreme oversold and extreme overbought. It's pretty much everywhere in the middle. I think it's almost useless, to be honest. But I like when I see red or green, um, especially with divergences. That's how I like to use the RSI.
Isn't that I'm gonna so reading a comment on TikTok here? Isn't that a head and shoulders on Bitcoin?
All right, let me give you my thoughts on Head and Shoulders.
I knew it was coming. Okay, go ahead.
Head and Shoulders is the very first thing that every trader learns.
Yeah.
That's the very first thing that everyone sees. If you want to tell me that that's Head and Shoulders, fine, I'll believe you. However, I don't put any weight in patterns in general, like very low weight in patterns. To me, that is I will check it as like, here's my analysis, da 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 da. Oh yeah, and there's this as well, like as more confluence, but I'm never going to make my analysis based off of a pattern. I might back test it and say, like, I have this analysis. We're doing this in Wyckoff. We're doing this in Elliott Wave. We're at this Fibonacci level. We're oversold here, whatever data that I want to present. And then, oh, yeah, there's a bull flag too. But I'm not going to be like, oh, there's a bull flag. There's Head and Shoulders. Let me go long. Let me go short. I will never
Yeah.
do that. That being said, even I put patterns at the lowest level of trading, at the lowest level of analyzing the market. Head and shoulders to me is at the lowest level of patterns because every trader learns about head and shoulders first. So therefore, it gets invalidated more than any of them. So if you want to tell me that's head and shoulders, fine. And I could see a scenario too where maybe you're right. Maybe it does come. That would just mean it would come back to 96, 97K. But I still
Yeah,
think Ethereum and the altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin from this point forward.
there we go.
So that's my thoughts.
Yeah, um, I have nothing to add to that. You know, I hope. I mean, we're right there. You know, I'm just looking at Bitcoin dominance. I've seen it get to the 786. I don't know. You said 702. I you know, I'm more. There will be a time again soon when just I've laid out my levels. I'm very interested in buying some of these cryptos at a discount. I mentioned like you know I bought some. I bought a bunch of stuff a few weeks ago, and then I bought some meme coins. But then like 2 Fridays ago, I sold those meme coins, break even and at a loss, based off of what I've seen. I want back in. There's going to be a time that for those cryptos, my utilities, I held all of them. You know, I'm not. I'm now a fellow diamond hander, if you want to call it that. You know, so um,
Welcome.
yeah, yeah,
Redemption says 107 see us back on track. I would say like if we get 107, that would be confirmation of a bear trap.
mm,
Because then you would take out this level right here. You would take out this little peak right here. That would be that would be a confirmation of a bear trap.
okay,
But I mean, yesterday we were at 100,000. So, you
yeah.
know,
Here we are.
here we are. Everyone was panicking. Like, people were accusing me. I really think that's probably what happened, to be honest. Like, I don't really care because I'm going to continue to make content either way. Um, I've never had a video ever taken down ever on YouTube. So make sure you follow me
Yeah,
there. Never, not once. Um, but that being said, I really think that people just get they just get all uptight, when I say counter to what the popular narrative is. And I think they get mad. And I've said this too. Like, there are those that are popular, there are those that are right. Pick one. Because whatever the popular narrative is, I think really like if you want to make the most amount of money as a content creator, what you should do is confirm bias what people think. If they
yeah,
just sold the bottom, they want to know that that was a good idea. And don't worry. Let me tell you, sweet little nothings, and you're going to be able to buy in lower. Don't worry. They're going to come. They're going to come back down because Trump and Elon, that breakup is going to cause Bitcoin to go to 12K. You know, so you're going to have plenty of opportunities to buy at a lower price. They want the sweet nothings of that, or at the top too. Like Zbeck is up a 9x since April 7th. No worries, it's going to keep going forever.
yeah. I mean, I could name names. You know, I'm not going to, but I've seen it be very lucrative for certain people. I mean, you know, well, no, yes. Let me keep going. To just be all out irrational bull in the bull market and an all out irrational bear in the bear market.
Right. Because that honestly, as a content creator, if you want to make the most amount of money, that's the thing to do.
Yeah, and there's you know a couple that I know that are just straight up millionaires, multimillionaires because of that. So
And that's fine. That's good for them. I would rather, I don't have a perfect track record. It's not like I
yeah,
gotten everything right. I obviously had a complete misread back in February. That was the most recent time that I was just completely just dead wrong. Um, but generally I would like for my track record over the long period of time to, I think that's going to win in the long run.
yeah, definitely.
Bitcoin dominance at the 786, is that problematic? Not yet. Also, too, so I don't even look at the 786, but I am slow to classify stuff as reversal or
Yeah.
I'm very slow because I know what the market makers do. They like to go to wherever the line in the sand is and then cross it and then go the other way.
Yeah. Um, you know, so looking at the stock market, the sorry, not the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq and the S&P, they're above their 786, and I have not yet entered this mindset 100%. So here's Bitcoin dominance of the 786. The teal line right there. But like they're above the 786. I have not yet been all in with this idea that that's a V-shaped recovery for the stock market. I believe, yeah, you know what? This looks like a V-shaped recovery, but I'm not throwing my hat in that ring just yet. At the 786, I would say that's the last line in the sand that I want. But what defines a lower high? A lower high is all right. Bitcoin dominance got up to 65.38%. So if Bitcoin dominance got to 65.37%, I mean, I would call that a double top actually, but I'm being a little exaggerating. We can break through the 786 and still put in a lower high.
Okay, so let me clarify my last statement too. I would agree too that the 76 is sort of the last line in the sand. All I'm saying is I use discretion when I see these lines. If it breaks it for a day,
Yeah,
or like a few hours, I'm not gonna be like, well, see, we're cooked. That's what I mean. Like I'm very slow with that. Now, if we get a couple daily bodies above it, obviously that's a break in the line. But yes, I would agree that the 786 is the last line in the sand. Um, Generally, you either double top or go into price discovery. That being said, yeah, I'm just very slow to classify stuff as um, it has hit these levels, just because I know how the market makers like to do.
yeah, not a wick. I don't even know, like daily close or weekly close. Weekly, I'd be a little bit more concerned,
Yeah,
but
weekly for sure. That's when I'm like, okay, we might have something here.
yeah,
Daily, if you get a couple, I generally will say if the whole body of the candle is not touching the line, that's
mhm,
generally when it's like, okay, there's no part of it that's holding on. That's generally when you start, you get a couple of those. That's when I'm more willing to be like, okay, yep.
yeah.
Um, what is the next leg for he? I think, yeah, I think my target's 20 cents on the next parabolic leg, but I'd say minimum 5 cents.
Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about that for the short term. What the next leg is, all I know is it's he month, and so we are doing a giveaway. And if you buy one Solana worth of he at any point this month, and you're still holding it at the end of the month, you are automatically in. First prize gets 100. Sorry, first prize gets 500,000 he tokens. Second gets 300,000. Third gets 200,000. The goal for this month is to outperform the market, outperform Solana. Market goes up, he goes up more. Market goes down, he goes down less, or it goes up. So,
Wait, are you telling me that you've created market cap increasing technology?
what do you mean?
That's what people want us to create. They want
Oh,
the best tech is market cap increasing technology.
okay. Yeah.
No, I'm being a troll. Um, yeah, I believe in hee. I never lost any faith in hee. Um, I know the work that Alex does on and behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, and I know I have just faith that we're gonna keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah. Can we reach can we reach some level of excitement in the market that has gone beyond that goes beyond December of 2024 or March of 2024? And can we have on-chain labs available? If so, my goodness, we're it's going to be insane.
By the way, Solnik's almost updated the staking. Right now, it's just 5%, which is a lot.
Yeah.
But So the staking DApp is almost completely updated, and it'll be 3% for 90 days, 7% for 180 days. I think it's 15% for 360 days, and then 720 days, it is 31%.
All
So
right.
BYOB, be your own bank.
Wait, what did you say for? Did you say 700 days? It's how much percent?
720 is 31%.
Okay, nice. I said QQQ close to all time high. I mean, like, man, if Bitcoin dominance was at this level, be this far beyond the 286, I'd be like, you know what, we're probably going higher than the previous peak.
Right.
So, yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like you kind of have to use Bitcoin dominance when looking at the Fibonacci's. You got to use a little bit more discretion, I think, because they're not. It's not going to go parabolic. It's not like it's going to the 2618 or the 3618. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's only going to go to 100. So I think you got to use a little bit more discretion when looking at Bitcoin dominance. It's a little bit tricky, but yeah. It looks like Jamel was right again.
All right. You want to play? Oh, I was about to show something.
Oh, I didn't do that.
You didn't do that? Okay. Maybe that's a sign that I shouldn't show something. I was going to his X account. Oh, you know what? I know what I did. Never mind. I did it.
Wasn't me, bro.
All right. If you want to share my screen, not that. Listen, I'm friends with him. I like him. All right. Was he right? Here's he is on June 3rd calling for a BART pattern to play itself out with Ethereum, and here he is yesterday doing a victory lap with that. All right. Well, let's look at the Ethereum chart, and we'll see. Should this victory lap have played itself out? Well, all right. Let's go to Ethereum. Does that look like a BART pattern? A BART pattern is this. That's what a BART would be. I mean, and maybe that will play itself out, but this is not a criticism of Jamil. It's a criticism of people coming in here and declaring that he was right. We haven't seen that yet. So
yeah. Also, patterns trading is the lowest level of analysis. Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, I have respect for all creators for creating because I know how hard it is.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just like our buddy Michael Burry. He was bearish in 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, all the way through 2025.
Yeah. So I see the exact same things. That there's two people in particular I'm thinking of. One is Jam. Another one is somebody that I think very few of you follow, but I find myself resonating a lot with his content. And my response is just looking at where the market is going right now, that not yet, that they're big doomsday people saying that things are going to get really ugly soon. And I agree with them.
I
But
agree too.
not yet. And I know what your timeline is. I would not say that I'm waiting till 2029 that's going to be the big doom and gloom. I do think it's going to be before then. But what I've come to find is that things move slower than every time. Things move slower than what I expect. So
Yes.
maybe it is 2029.
If you're asking me if I think that things are fundamentally broken and the chicken is going to come home to crow, I would agree with that
Yeah.
statement. I just think that the charts play out so much faster, or maybe the reverse. Fundamentals are just grossly lagging. Like you almost, again, like Michael Burry, 2005, had a fundamental flaw in the real estate. One of the biggest flaws that we've ever seen. Like clearly a bubble. Like clearly when you're giving people loans to McDonald's, that's wrong. That's not okay. And then
Yeah.
he shorted with billions of dollars in 2005. It
Yeah.
wasn't right until 2008. And we see this a lot. Yeah. I don't know. By the it's almost always the most liking indicator. Yeah, I think that the dollar is going to collapse and the American people are going to pay for that. And I think that the economy is not sustainable. Printing money to solve your problems is not a sustainable method of operation. But they have a way of just keeping this operation going longer than we would anticipate.
Yeah.
And I'm not waiting for 2029 either, by the way.
Hmm.
That's just my prediction. But I'm not like, well, 2029. If they're like, if all of a sudden the dollar, like, I don't know, the deep, like no other country is buying dollars, I'm not gonna be like, well, but that might even be good, to be honest, for Bitcoin.
Yeah. I mean, if no other country's buying dollars, then Bitcoin in its dollar valuation should shoot up significantly. But
So is eggs and milk and
yeah,
gas.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think by the end of this decade, like a gallon of gasoline in the United States is going to be triple what it is now. I mean, honestly, based off of
Yeah.
everything I'm seeing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that that's crazy at all. Again, like to me, it's the simplest math equation that exists. If every 4 years they double the debt,
Yeah.
the national debt, what is that? That is diluting the supply. That's no different than Filecoin doubling the circulating supply. You are doubling the circulating supply of the US dollar. And regardless of what Jay Peasy or Jerome Powell tells us, if you double the supply, inflation has doubled. That's the real metric. Every 4 years, approximately, inflation doubles. Even if they tell you it's 2.1% every year or 1.8 or 2, whatever they tell you it is, that's not real. That is the most flawed method of analyzing inflation. And someone asked me the other day, or yesterday actually, somebody predicted, you know, Bitcoin's going to be um, I don't even remember. Was it 20 million per coin? Um, they asked, do I think that that could happen? And I said, yeah, I don't think it's going to be this cycle, the next cycle, or the one after that, or
Yeah. Someday.
someday. Yeah, I do think that that could happen. But what I said was $20 million isn't $20 million when that happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's been saying that for a while. You know, could XRP hit $10,000 one day? Well, if a loaf of bread is $100,000, yeah, maybe
If a
not that
loaf,
bad.
yeah, if a loaf of bread is 10,000,
Yeah. Um, yeah, let's see. I just don't see something similar to December happening in, let's say, July. I'm perfectly fine with this idea. I don't know. I mean, I've said videos. I've laid out other people's charts calling for like some peak in July. I was never married to that. So
I'm not married to any time frame. To me,
yeah,
time is not real for Bitcoin.
yeah.
Bitcoin will be here long after I'm dead and gone. Time is real for me. It's real for, me wanting to get my kids their college tuition or go on a
Hmm.
nice vacation or whatever it is that we invest for. But it's not real for Bitcoin. Sonic to the moon, baby. As long as Sonic hits $1 and he hits 20 cents before
It's
taxes.
another troll comment from the web. Just let's move on.
I think he's a real holder of both.
Yeah, he is. He's mentioned that.
Um, yeah, those are my highest convictions, along with throw Fat Cat in there.
Yeah.
The funny thing was, like, people were mad that we all did videos for each other. They're like, "There's something fishy here." It's like, yeah, I don't trust other stuff.
Yeah.
That's
I'm gonna do a 100x on the supply you gave me for making a video,
Yeah.
which was you know,
100 times 0.
yeah, I already did it. So there we go.
Yeah. Literally, like on my mama, bro. We didn't pay each other anything.
Yeah. Why? I mean, I like this idea of having two other guys who like we're all in the same position and we all have a lot of conviction in each other's projects. So hey, let's get excited and share our excitement about these two projects. So
Yeah, and I think too, like, half the battle is steering away from nonsense.
sorry, I'm reading Dano's comment there.
Who's paying you to flood soap? uh Crypto Bastard is paying me to flood
Yes,
Silva.
the project he's already said is dead. So
No, people legitimately say he's trolling, but people
yeah,
legitimately say stuff like that.
yeah.
It,
If
it
if you
Go ahead.
guys want to pay me, I made a video about this a long time ago. Anyone want to pay me to FUD any crypto other than Bitcoin, Solnick, and Fat Cat? Send me, I'll send you my wallet address. I will be glad to do so.
I've never been paid like a smear campaign.
I'm all for it because ultimately I'm going to be proven right. So, you know,
Yeah. Oh man, that's we'll lay out some products. If you want one smear post, it's going to cost this much. But if you want the
yeah.
value package of 10 smear posts, 3 a day over the course of 3 months, we will FUD it to
All
oblivion.
right, you know what? There's another one I won't FUD, and that's XRP because I'll get banned because the XRP army is insane. So
My God, there is no one who has caught more hands and caught more lashings than me in my position on XRP because I find myself in the middle of both the hatred. Like there's a
yeah,
cult of like
yep,
anti XRP, and then there's the cult of pro XRP, and I'm in the middle, and they're just like both beating me up simultaneously. Like
yeah,
when XRP was at 30, 40 cents, me saying $5, $8, $12, the XRP haters like, oh, he's out of his mind. It'll never do that in a million years, and like just silly, all these silly comments. And then also simultaneously at the same time, do your research. It's $10,000, $50,000. What about the Swift system? Do more research, like all this stuff.
yeah.
At the same time, I'm catching these hands. Um, just getting the break speed off of me by both parties. So
I get it too, and it's like your XRP holdings bought you a farm. You did what you were supposed to do.
oh man. Webb, thanks for the $5 donation, brother. Says Webb got 2.5 million, Sonic 1.2 million. He. Jesus Juice, I think they will outperform most coins.
I don't know what that means, Jesus juice, but okay.
I'm not tracking that one. I'll take a look at it. I never heard of that one. What do you think about INJ?
I think it's going down to $8.53. That's what I think, and that'll be a great time to buy.
I don't remember what the inflation on INJ is.
I think it's moderate. I don't think it's like. I mean, they have staking. It's one of those Atom cryptos that has their staking, so it might actually be pretty high now that I think about it. But I mean, it's a 2021 crypto, so it might not be. It's probably not as bad as like a lot of the newer ones.
Right, like past inflation. It looks like there's
Yeah.
none.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
I mean, but they have
FDV.
staking.
Well, Solnic has staking. There's no
Yeah, that's
inflation,
true. Yeah.
but it's a slasher. So the initial bag comes from my bag, and then it's a slasher.
Okay.
So what I teach in crypto is it's a patience game, and those that are patient will reward from those that are not, and
Yeah.
that's what we've set up with Solnic. If you are impatient, and you break your promises, then you're going to pay a penalty. And those that keep their promises are going to reward. Yeah, looks like market cap 1.21 billion. FTV is 1.21 billion as well.
Okay. Sounds good.
What'd you say? $8? I could see $8.
853. Yeah.
In the macro, I don't mind where it's at as far as value.
Yeah. Yeah. No. It was a big winner late in 2023 and going into 2024, and then it just kind of cooled off. And it reminds me of Caspa in that regard. So
Let me see. Let me pull up their chart. It's at 12. I mean, that's not even that. I mean, I guess it is relatively.
are you you're not sharing your screen, or
Yeah,
okay.
I'm just so 25%. That's what this might sound crazy, but to me, this is just how I view things. 25% in crypto is potato.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, so macro, I think that INJ is a good value. Micro, maybe I could see it back testing that prior range. Wouldn't be weird at all.
Mm-hmm.
$10 probably is more probable, but
Yeah,
is
sure.
8 is plausible.
Yeah, maybe it goes down to 10 and that'll be it.
But
I
yeah,
would
I
just be
mean,
very excited at 853. So
I would be very excited at 853 as well.
yeah.
In the macro too, I remember INJ there was I'll share my screen for this. So market cap is the truth. I was very bearish on INJ, all of this,
Mm,
because I was super concerned about this right here. So if we
yeah.
just go over here, this is what I saw for a lot. And I don't like gaps, they just have a tendency to get filled. And when we were looking at the same sort of time frame, that didn't exist over here. Like it was already filled on the price. So I don't maybe all the inflation happened during this time. That doesn't make sense that the FTV is 100% then. But market cap, there was a big gap here that got filled. And so to me, there is no more like this definitely is going to hold to me.
Mm-hmm.
That is the bottom for sure. Outside of something catastrophic, breaking of the blockchain or whatever. But yeah, this is distribution. You're marked down, and then you have back tested the prior range and filled this gap. So that's good. But that's why I was bearish through all of this because I was like,
Yeah.
man, these gaps have a tendency to get filled. Jo, thanks for the 199. Can you make a video for purchasing Solnic, please? Yes, Jo, I promise. I will make a video. I've already made a video on that, but I'll make another video when I'll be back on the 10th, and I will make a video on how to purchase Solnic. And he.
Sounds good.
I don't know. I don't know what is taking on chain so long, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say even next couple months, if they launch, then awesome.
Yeah, it'll be great when it happens. I am super excited. All right, guys. I think that's a good place to stop. Make sure you guys go on my Twitter and repost that. Help me get my TikTok account back, please, and thank you. And tag TikTok support. Let's get some eyeballs on that for sure. But that's gonna be it for this time. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Any closing words? Oh boy.
Hey, Bitcoin to the moon. Good day today. And we will never message you. That's someone from Iran, Nigeria.
The prince that just needs to get
Yeah.
back to his palace.
Someone from Iceland. How about that? I don't know. I said Iceland, but
All right, guys. That is going to be it for this time. We will never message you. Peace, love, prosperity. God first. God bless. Make sure you guys like us, subscribe, follow us on TikTok. Uh, I maybe my backup there, I guess, is Solnick and Ski Sports. I'll make probably another one for. Um, I'll probably just turn the Solnick one into my backup fully. I don't know. We'll see. But YouTube, follow us on YouTube. Neither one of us have ever had a video even flagged on YouTube.
There we go.
So for all the hate that YouTube got for censorship, from my experience, it has not been YouTube that has been censoring. It has been TikTok. So follow us. All right, guys. Peace, love, prosperity. God first.